Today's story was written by Reddit user ShaadowOfAPerson. First contact should, perhaps, have been a much grander affair. Our stories told of grand first contact fleets, carefully chosen tests of merit, grand invasions, and some species even received those. The Galactic Assembly had a detailed first contact protocol spanning 500 pages of dense legalizers. It has been used thrice. Twice more, a species invaded an uncontacted species wholesale. This was frowned upon and hardly worth the effort unless one was at the brink of extinction. Most got the same welcome we got. A pirate, down on their luck, tired of pillaging from the established races, decided humanity looked appealing. The punishment for contacting an uncontacted species was death, or life in prison. So was the punishment for piracy, and so it kept happening. Humanity was, thus, thrust into the galactic community, having passed 4 of the 330 tests the Galactic Assembly prescribed for a new entrant to be contacted. This was marginally above average. Humanity was largely unremarkable on the galactic stage, more peaceful than most military, more aggressive economically, an unusual FTL system. We soon grew richer than most, but never even approached the splendour of the Darnavay or the Grodashan. Still, we were rich enough to target. The Grodashan had acquired their wealth through less than savoury means, colonialism we would call it. The Galactic Assembly had almost 5,000 pending cases against them, a low point in the years since they had joined. The Grodashan lost almost every one, but the punishment never did eclipse the gains. And the Grodashan, being the Assembly's foremost military power, vetoed every attempt to increase it. And so they kept invading. Eventually, they set their eyes on us. A casus belli was established over some triviality. It would never stand up in court, but it would be decades before it saw trial. And so, an invasion fleet of 5,000 ships, fighters excluded, showed up in orbit of Earth and demanded surrender. Earth sent a single ship to respond. Humanity was not much for ostentatious fleets. Stand down and leave human space immediately. The Grodashan commander laughed. It had been eons since anyone had put up a fight. But the Grodashan military was still the grandest in the galaxy, and their training was more than rigorous. This was all true. The Grodashan navy was the grandest by far, the most intimidating by a country mile, but the strongest? Well, the Grodashan ships did not bother to respond to the human ultimatum. They opened fire. Their shots hit home immediately, around 5 centimetres beyond their gun barrels, in fact. Tungsten cubes were ripped apart by forces that would destroy a warship. Humanity did not mourn the loss of their tungsten cubes. Who would? Human FTL was, at this range, almost perfectly precise. It had, after all, been developed to place transistors ever more compactly and scaled up from there. Stand down and leave human space immediately. This time, perhaps, the demand should have had more weight, but the Grodashan had not fought a war outside of training in eons, so they kept going like it was a training exercise. Evasive manoeuvres started immediately, particle beams hummed to life, mass drivers charged up. The human ship did not move, but it did get slightly lighter. In the command post of the lead Grodashan ship sat a small black cylinder. It had not been there a second previously. It was not there a second later, but that second, oh what a second, 20 of the Grodashan's finest command staff died in that second. The next, it appeared in the engineering rooms. 50 of the Grodashan's best engineers died. The average Groteshan ship had 12 rooms. Perhaps 5 were occupied during battle. The human ship carried 1,000 drones. The battle took half a minute. 5,000 ships became 5,000 tombs. Ornate and gold-encrusted, the grandest, most intimidating collection of tombs in the galaxy. The human ship grew slightly heavier once again, as 1,000 drones returned to the hangar once more, then returned to Earth.